I was speaking with some folks earlier, and they said I'm a good friend of Peter Williams. And then he turned and said, actually, if you look around, I think everyone here is a good friend of Peter Williams. And if you're here not from knowing Peter, you're going to know him by the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, he started Girl Power Hour. He is a current director and former chair of the Lionheart Foundation, which is behind this. Would you please welcome to the stage Mr. Peter Williams? Come on up, Peter.
Thanks, Dave. My assigned task today is much reduced from prior years, but I am here to shed some light on why we are here, and also to express a couple of thanks. Excuse me. But firstly, a little background. I am a father of 2 girls, now young women. I'm a father who has witnessed the struggles emanating from my own child's anxiety-based mental health. I have some experience with what it's like as a parent to be searching for help in a system at the time which barely recognized the symptoms, and eventually having the good fortune of finding help in the private sector and coming to understand how much it can cost, as the therapy sometimes has to go deep. My family's experience has a happy ending. Both daughters are healthy, both with children of their own, and both have become clinical psychologists. But it is this experience with our daughter's mental health that is behind our desire to help other families access the help that they need. And it's really it's the families together collectively sharing that view that founded Lionheart in the early days, then Juno Foundation. So that's why I'm here. But why are we all here today? Some of us may have come for the free wine. And if you did, you're lucky, because it almost didn't get here. That was my first question when I showed up this morning. Others, I hope, came to learn about anxiety in our kids, how to be better parents, and if our kids need help, where to go. That's all critical stuff, and that this event works hard to deliver in the limited time that we have. What perhaps is not obvious to anyone other than the families that have gone through this mental health issues with their kids, or those that are in the middle of it, is just how difficult and frustrating it is to find help when our kids most need it. And I'm talking mental health here. Very few exceptions, with very few exceptions, this is not something you walk into a Mediclinic or a hospital emergency room with and receive any lasting help. And I'm not suggesting that's where the help should be necessarily. But the fact is that the state of kids' mental health in Alberta is a mess. Just is, full stop. Many families swirl for years trying to get the help they need, if they find it at all. Where the most constructive and comprehensive help is available for the vast majority of kids' mental health is in the private therapy sector. And that is where we, the Friends of Girl Power Hour, and Lionheart Foundation and other groups who will be acknowledged today are doing our best to help. And how? Lionheart is identifying and helping educate best-in-class therapists, and by making subsidies available to families who cannot afford the full cost of best-in-class care. And it is the funds raised at this event that substantially fund that budget. In that regard, I would like to acknowledge one of the original founders of Lionheart, of Juno Foundation, as it then was called. Julie George and her late husband, Rick, were instrumental in catalyzing certain events to actualize the vision I just expressed, building more specialists and helping all families with equal access. Without the early work of Julie and Rick, we would not be where we are today. I would like to acknowledge Julie in the crowd. Thank you, Julie, and I know you're right over here. Just please raise a hand. Finally, I'd like to thank the organizing committee of today's event. The star is Jen Rende of Annapolis Capital, who is the veritable epicenter and great goddess of Girl Power Hour. Thank you, Jen. We have a sponsor wrangling committee, Chad Harris of Serafina, Jeff Hyde of Quadrille, and Greg Heath of RBC. Christina Berg from TD Securities, who produced the opening and closing loop of images, stats, and music. Lori Gibson of Lionheart for her consult and direction throughout. And DeBrier Cardiff and her team at E=MC², and ProShow for the professional help it took to mount this event. And thank you to the TELUS Convention Center. Thank you to all of you. And Dave, the show's all yours. Thank you.